It's cool, I know.
Factor.
Like,
Go to
Zoom
recoverfactor.com
Yeah.
and get your 3-week quick
Third
start
grade.
today. Only $19.95. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025. Forbes Health. Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed. Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN.
Hey. Yo. You're gonna. Oh, he doesn't have his headphones in. Trying to talk to him, he can't even hear me. You're gonna have to give me a minute to find this audio. I still haven't found it yet.
Which ones? All of it?
Oh no, the first and the last one. So your first Morning Joe one from 2 days ago, and then the Chris Van whatever. I haven't found it either. Yeah.
And their other activities. The program is available to students of all grade levels. You can get your bus passes at the student's main office or at Getz Downtown Transit Center at Chester Avenue and 20th Street. Students in 7th grade are required to present a valid school ID. Bakersfield Police in the current high school district are investigating a non-credible threat that was made to Frontier High School today. Officials told parents.
But you got one of the Scarboroughs?
Officers on campus as they investigated the.
I got the one from today.
Which one is that?
Chris Matthews one.
Okay, good.
Homicide in Nimrod Court is believed to have been a drug deal gone bad. A couple had parked near an alley ready to sell a bag of marijuana to someone they had been messaging with through Instagram. 19-year-old Landon O'Ryan Worthy and his girlfriend were in the car when 18-year-old Marlo Keith Mays approached, but then Mays allegedly shot Worthy. Mays was identified by a combination of surveillance video, cell phone data, and a palm print on Worthy's vehicle. A 16-year-old girl was killed after a two-vehicle crash. It happened at around 6 o'clock Sunday evening in the 4400 block of Union Avenue. Bakersfield police say a Jeep was heading west on Panorama Drive when it crossed into the northbound lane of Union Avenue, colliding with a Hyundai. The 16-year-old female passenger of the Hyundai was badly hurt and did not survive. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. And a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. For those of you subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show. On Wednesday, 13th day of August, Chris Burdick producing the broadcast. On another busy day, a lot of local things going on. We'll get to some national news as well. We'll talk more about 8-year-old Genisis, who, as most of you know, now that 17 and other news organizations are reporting about her biological mother, let alone the stepmother who is in custody for murder. This girl just never had a chance. She just never had a chance, man. It's just crazy how life can be a lottery. And if you've got two solid parents, you should thank your lucky stars. We'll unpack her story. It's that time again. Time when Manny, Mo, and Jack try to get a raise. Sleepy, Dopey, Doc, and the rest of the crew at the city council are going to say they need more money. They should go to the WNBA and get those t-shirts. Pay us what you owe us. Because the same thing that's going to happen to the WNBA players is going to happen to the city council, because we control the purse strings. Totally up to us. So I don't even know why I'm talking about it today. I really don't. Just a slight reminder, don't let these knuckleheads, if they want more money, then do the Bailey. What I have been screaming about for over a decade. Make it a full-time position, change the charter, make the mayor a strong mayor. The mayor currently doesn't have a vote unless there's a tie, which is rare with 7 dwarfs. And make the mayor do something more than cut ribbons and make speeches at Dignity Health and Mercy and memorial events. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That's the job that she has. That's the job description. Karen Go is a wonderful person. And we don't know how good a mayor she is because she doesn't do anything. That's the whole point of changing the charter. Put some teeth in the mayoral position and make the city council full-time, give them offices, pay them a decent salary, 75, 80 grand. They'll still be running their independent businesses, and we'll get serious people that'll do nothing but serve the people. But this part-time job, and you guys are all, there's not one person on that city council that's want for money. Not one. They are all affluent individuals in our community, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not running for the mayor of New York. I'm not a socialist. Ain't nothing wrong with success. But serve your community. Don't come begging every couple of years saying you need more money. Are you kidding? We'll go through what they get anyway, which ain't bad. But just a reminder that we hold the purse strings. We'll get into that a little bit. It's a Wednesday, so Howard Marcus will be here at 4 o'clock. And finally, the Kern County School Board takes a positive step. They kind of dragged their feet on parent notification. They're against it, but they refuse to get involved in some of the lawsuits that's going on, like in Chula Vista and other communities that are fighting the idea that parents have to be out of the know. The teachers can find out that little Ralph Bailey wants to transition into a girl, and the social studies teacher doesn't tell Ralph Bailey's parents that that's going on. That's insane. And a lot of school districts are fighting it. Our school district opted to punt, wait to see what happened with the other suits. But they did take a bold statement last night in joining the suit in fighting Title IX resolution. The fact that the state has violated that, that's what the Trump administration believes, and I completely agree with them, by violating the civil rights of these young women. Imagine having a 14-year-old daughter who's got to get dressed in front of Ralph Bailey because Ralph Bailey's 14 years old and he identifies as a girl. And he's on the lacrosse team or, you know, God forbid, the water polo team or something. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So kudos. We need a sound effect when somebody does something good. Let's stop the show right now, Chris, and produce the Ralph Bailey show. What do you got for me? What's our guy? What's soon to be Scott's? Dawson, you can help us out here. We need a sound effect that is celebratory or congratulatory. What do you got for me, fellas?
I would just say just some generic horns or something like that, like cheering.
What about Kool and the Gang for like 5 seconds?
What now?
Kool and the Gang for a second. Celebration. Come on. You don't know that song?
Yes, of course I know.
Okay, then why are you looking at me like the RCA Victor dog? What? What are you talking about?
No, I mean, like,
no?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that, yeah.
Oh, you're looking at me like that because you think it's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you didn't understand. You're just like, what? What? No. All right, well, what do you got?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like the like, you know, when a king comes into the room and you get like the horns, everybody's like celebratory, like yay, that kind of thing.
Let me see if I can do the Chris Burdick.
Oh yeah, because celebration was so much better. You use celebration for everything.
That's true. I'll go for it. All right, let me hear your da-da-da.
Again, that's why I don't know exactly.
The Charmin commercial. Do you remember that? You old enough to remember the Charmin commercial?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that when they lift the lid and the horns would go off?
Yeah,
you could steal that. I don't know.
I'll find something.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll get into that. You'll do a little tip of the hat to the Kern County School Board. And Democrats are continuing to fight what is going on in DC, but there are a handful, including Chris Matthews and even Joe Scarborough read a letter from a friend of his who's a resident of the Washington, D.C. area. We told you yesterday that the Washington Post reported that 65%, as we began this thing with Donald Trump and this 30-day occupation or whatever you want to call it, the federal troops or National Guard inside the district, it began with the idea of federal patrols at night and just the presence of these people. And the liberal media flooded, actually, during the news conference, statistics as President Trump was speaking, showing how crime has fallen in the district. And as I told you, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Stats don't mean a damn thing if you live in that city and it's not safe. Stats don't mean a damn thing if your murder rate is the highest in the nation and you've got 100 murders in 8 months. Stats don't mean a damn thing if you live in Northwest or Northeast Washington, which is the Tony, very affluent areas, and all of a sudden carjackings are skyrocketing because they don't throw carjacking in as violent crimes. And so now the chickens are coming home to roost, and we're actually hearing from Washington residents. The Washington Post did a poll where 65% of the residents, as I mentioned, said they don't feel safe. Well, we'll take a break and we'll hear from Chris Matthews, a liberal Democrat, on how Democrats are making a gargantuan mistake trying to fight those trying to fight crime. It just doesn't work. And when you're at 32% approval rating in the nation, that is not a positive thing. And the Dodgers blow yet another 9th inning, well, actually 10th inning lead. We are in deep, deep trouble because we've got a bullpen that is, they come in with gasoline cans. Shohei Ohtani hits what I thought, no, I didn't. I'm lying. He hits what I knew was not going to be a game-winning home run in the top of the 10th. And Ben Kasparius, who just in the 9th loaded the bases, was 3-0, was one pitch from losing the game, and somehow battled back down 3-0 and struck the guy out with bases loaded. And then, of course, Dave Roberts sent him right back out there. And to nobody's surprise, Angels score, we lose. We are now tied atop of the National League West. Technically, that's not even true because the Padres are kicking the Giants behind. Is that who they're playing? Yeah, the Giants. They are stomping as we speak on the god-awful, stinky, smelly, dope-smoking, PD taking, got a little boogity in them, donkey riding, kazoo playing orange and black wearing Giants. So when game time comes, we'll be a half game down in the National League West. Perhaps for the first time this season. We are just getting started on a Wednesday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
Now, it really doesn't bother me that the city wants to rename South 8th Street to Cesar Chavez Boulevard. I'm indifferent. Now, what does bother me is how much money it's going to cost to do this. We're talking about changing street signs, changing addresses, and all the books. People are going to have to go to the DMV and have it changed on their identification. I've heard it could cost up to $1 million just for this to happen. Now, that I have a problem with.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's that time again for the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Now through September 2nd, get incredible offers on 2025 Subarus. And if you've been thinking about an EV, the 2024 Solterra is a great choice. First, Subaru. Same quality, safety, and technology you expect from a Subaru. Plus, it's the only EV that comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And now, through September 2nd, lease a 2025 Solterra for just $259 a month for 36 months and zero due at signing. That's right, absolutely nothing at signing. It's an incredible offer on Subaru EV. So don't miss the Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now at Sangera Subaru, 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Auto Mall. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community.
2025 Subaru Solterra Premium SST model SCT-1 with MSRP $31,181. 6 monthly lease payments of $259 per month plus tax, $0 security deposit, $0 plus registration and title, first payment, and $85 doc fee due at inception. Each based on 7,500 miles per year, 15 cents per mile over. Available to qualified buyers through Subaru Motor Finance with Tier 1 SCA. On approved credit, price about through 9225. VIN number SA10464.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000.
are calling in, booking their caterings right now. And for those of you looking for a banquet hall or a facility to host your event, we got you covered. Salty's Banquet and Event Center, 6720 Sherrod Court. So just give us a call at 661-563-2739, 661-563-2739. Salty's Barbecue and Catering, 9425 Rosedale Highway and 6801 White Lane. Hey folks, you know the line. Say it with me. California grilled, Texas approved.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Roxanne, you don't have to wear your best tonight. Okay, I found it. Walk the streets for money. I don't care if it's fun. I really debated on whether or not I was going to get into this, but I am. Jenny Ha has announced at Channel 17 that she is leaving and headed up to Sacramento. We congratulate her. She's outstanding. Don't know her very well. We've met her a handful of times, but she is a Northwestern grad, which is arguably the finest journalism school in the country, along with Columbia, Syracuse, Austin, UT down in Austin. Maybe for television, you throw in SC and the Annenberg program, and University of Missouri. But something weird happened on Facebook. And, you know, what the hell am I doing reading Facebook nonsense? I don't know. But everybody was congratulating her. And one woman said, "So you're going to Sacramento, California state capital. Why?" Okay, first of all, that's about as dumb a question as I've ever heard, but that's not what set me off. The next woman, this Yvonne broad, writes, "Connie, because she is a liberal looking to climb the ladder. No better place to try and do it." Maybe I'm a little too sensitive. I don't know Jenny that well. But that just, first of all, you have absolutely no idea, Yvonne, what this young girl's political ideology is. And what the hell does that have to do with a young, recent college graduate coming to Bakersfield and trying to get the hell out of here? and going to the state capitol and covering politics for the state of California? Are you really that stupid? Are you really? And if a man had written this, women would be calling him a misogynist. Jenny Ha is an outstanding reporter. And then you would think, well, Ralph, that's really what set you off? No, there were other comments saying because there's been a rash of departures lately, there's something going on at 17. What's going on? Alex left, Maddie left, everybody's leaving. Have you not figured out why? They're getting better jobs. They're getting higher pay. See, I don't know if you understand this. And I'm somewhat being sarcastic, but then I read this nonsense and I really believe, like, I have to explain this to you. In television, there are markets. The number one market is New York. That's where you want to be. Savannah Guthrie, the host of today's show, did not start in Manhattan. Neither did Craig Melvin, her co-host. In fact, Melvin started somewhere in a small town in South Carolina. That's what you do to accomplish, to succeed in television. It's called market jumping. Every last one of the people that you see on television, including Jim Scott, Greg Kerr, Mike Hart, all started in tiny little markets where they were miserable, making absolutely no money. And they make a tape, they send it to a general manager, he gives it to the news director, they say, hire this guy, and you climb the ladder and you make more money. And the next thing you know, good morning, everybody. This is the Today Show. I'm Craig Melvin. That's how it works. It is astonishing to me that I actually have to explain that, at least to Yvonne and Connie. And I'm being kind and not throwing out your last name, you two ignorant women, you. But to throw water on a young woman beginning her career and asking, why are you going to Sacramento? Stay here in beautiful Bakersfield for the rest of your career. Good God Almighty. Congratulate the girl. Celebrate her success. And to come from two women? Okay, I'm done. Just had to get that up. It's about 7:30 last night. Been bugging me all night. Bugging me all night. I sat in my bathroom and rehearsed that this morning. No, that's an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. I don't have time to do anything. Is there anything on the board?
Yeah, we got a couple here.
Yeah, I don't have time to get into this Griselda thing. I'll do that at the bottom of the hour. It's way too much to get into. We know more about young Genesis' biological mother, who was almost an equal nightmare as the two people that are accused of killing her. But we'll get into that at the bottom of the hour because I don't have a lot of time. What do you got?
Karen Go would quit if she had to do some real work.
Oh, no, come on. No, that's not nice. It's not her fault that it's a symbolic position. Who is a better symbolic mayor than Harvey Hall? And I think you're right. Harvey was a little more active. I remember coming back from a Dodger game and seeing Harvey on the site because you could always tell Harvey. Number one, he was a tall gentleman with kind of blondish white hair. And he was always cleaner than the Board of Health, Jack. Cleaner than a Safeway chicken. That man could dress. And he had these flamboyant jackets, and you could always pick him out. And I remember driving home from a Dodger game one afternoon and seeing him out there with a group of people picking up garbage. Not to insinuate that Karen Go doesn't do a lot of community things, but I think Harvey was, at least in the 30 years that I've lived here, been the greatest symbol of our city and that role as mayor. It's not her fault. It is the lack of desire to change the charter and make that a strong position and make the council members full-time. If they want to make money doing this, then you're going to have to work 40 hours a week. But this kind of hobby and showing up on meeting nights and, you know, Andre Gonzalez showing up at every event and not doing anything. Remember my favorite Andre Gonzalez story? And I got this firsthand from somebody who would not lie on Andre. It was Thanksgiving, and they were doing the kind of a, you know, food giveaway where everybody comes and doles out the yams and the tortillas and the turkey and the thing. And Andre was there, and he did 3 interviews with 29, 17, and 23, but he never picked up a ladle. He never picked up a fork. He didn't dole out 1 ounce of food, but he was there in his blue suit, Jack. He was there, clean as a whistle, looking good. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't cut it. That doesn't cut it. And that's why there's no advancement. That's why I think the city is in peril. And they're going to talk about getting more money. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that, because this is the phrase of the week. We hold the purse strings. Please remember that. They got to vote. We got to vote. We got to vote. We got to vote. What else?
Just think, those two women are married. Yikes.
Who? Oh, Yvonne and Connie? Probably not. If I had to guess. Am I wrong about that? Am I overreacting about that?
No, not at all. Honestly, I say the same thing. And to be honest with you, I feel like just a lot of people, I don't mean to make it sound like it's just here, but when you are set in your roots, you want to believe that no one ever wants to leave where you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
So when you hear someone wants to better themselves and go to a bigger market or a bigger city to get a better job, you automatically just assume it's for some sort of political or debunk reason, because you would never do that because you're not a sellout,
right?
Kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the reason there's been a mass exodus at 17 is because, and no disrespect to Greg Kerr or Mike Hart, but I've worked with Mike Trahey a long time ago, and he's the best journalist in this town. He took a newspaper attitude and took it to television. He had a built-in, huge name as an anchor in Jim Scott, and Tammy Melchak's been here forever. She is a well-known, so he had that in stone, and then he brings in these young reporters and he teaches them how to look up things, look up warrants, and they dig harder than everybody else. And these kids are, you can talk to JR about it. I've called it just about every time. Third time I saw Eitan Wallace, I was like, ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. Remember Moses Small, dark-skinned brother? I told him every time I ran into him, you will not sign a second contract in this market. It's a great jump-off market. We're right. I think last time I checked, we're about anywhere from 140 to 150. And to really make money in television, you got to get into like the top 50, 25 markets. You got to get to like Vegas isn't that bad. It's kind of a lateral move, but Fresno, no, not really. Sacramento's decent, but when you're talking top 10, 15, 20, you're talking like Atlanta, Miami, Dallas, obviously New York, Chicago, DC. We had a girl here leave from here and go to DC. Quick timeout. Back half of the first hour. It's TRBS. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Officials say new sandbag-style barriers installed along a river in Alaska's capital city have held back record levels of flooding and prevented widespread damage after an ice dam at the nearby Mendenhall Glacier released a massive amount of rainwater and snowmelt downstream. Water pooled on several streets and in some yards in Juneau after the Mendenhall River crested Wednesday, but there were no damage reports. President Trump says there will be very severe consequences if Russian President Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war against Ukraine after the two leaders meet for a summit later this week in Alaska. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 463 points. The NASDAQ rose 31. More details at srnnews.com.
Any luck with Scarborough?
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Any luck with Scarborough?
From the KERN newsroom.
I got the first half of it. I'm trying to get the back half of it where he gets to the calmer part, but it cuts off, I think, halfway through the bite. So
We'll just get whatever you can.
But again, I have half of it already right now. I think I have the other half in the video, but I'm trying to double check it.
Okay.
As far as the other one, the Van Holen or whatever, I haven't found anything.
All right, fuck it. Don't worry about that.
Buses and on-demand paratransit services to provide a reliable, cost-free option so kids can get to school and to their other activities. Bakersfield police in the Kern High School district are investigating a non-credible threat that was made to Frontier High School today. Officials told parents that there were extra officers on campus as they investigated the social media threat that was discovered with the help of online surveillance out of Sacramento. A student was reportedly taken to the dean's office for questioning. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I was always tired, sleepy, and had no energy.
I had relentless, debilitating headaches.
Valley fever has many faces and impacts people differently. If you have a lingering cough, fever, or painful breathing for more than 2 weeks, talk to your doctor.
I am Juan Louis.
I am Bryn Kerrigan.
And we are the faces of Valley Fever.
Visit KernPublicHealth.com to learn more.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed.
Awesome selection. Awesome. Yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are conducted in compliance with the law. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show on the eve of the huge summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska. What do we expect to happen? We will have all the latest on that for you. Plus, we'll take you into the ongoing battle over Trump's federalization of D.C. police. All that and more, Thursday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Story about how Michael is alleged to have kicked Tupac's ass. Have I told that story before?
Yes, but I think I've heard this before because wasn't this a Chappelle skit or something like that?
But it's a true story, though.
Yeah, no, it's 100% true story.
But I think it was a Chappelle skit. How is that possible?
Okay.
How does Michael Jackson kick Tupac Shakur's?
Michael grew up the youngest in his family of a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee those brothers were all nice, which means he was probably beat up on a lot as a little kid, especially as the most popular. You don't think jealousy ran through that family a lot?
Yeah.
So he had
when
to
you're
defend
8
himself.
and your brother's 16 and you're the head of the band.
I'm just saying, you got to defend yourself, which means that
and you're Tito and you got to stand there and do this. And your brother's 10 and the girls are swooning over him.
What I'm saying.
What am I, a potted plant?
I'm actually your age.
The boy doesn't have hair anywhere on his body. 10 years old. They swooning over his sorry ass. And there's Tito. So stupid.
No, I bet you Michael could box.
That just kills me. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm just delaying. I don't want to even get into this story. I really don't. The story of this 8-year-old KGT and many of the local news organizations have found out more about her biological mother. Now remember, it is her biological father and his woman, Graciela Bustamante, the biological father being Ray Mata Jr., who are being held on murder charges, along with others that include, please stand by, 1 count of murder, 2 counts of torture, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, 1 count of aggravated mayhem on a child, 1 count of attempt to inflict injury upon a child as well. They're both facing either life in prison or possibly the death penalty. But again, as we talked about yesterday, when we talked about the death penalty, it is rare, it is extremely rare when a female is executed. And in fact, 17 did a piece on a kid, we talked about this as well yesterday, down in Palmdale, who was similarly torched. It was much worse, actually. They locked this kid up in a tiny little cubicle the size of a bread basket. They shot him with BB guns. They made him eat things that I don't even want to discuss, and finally killed this kid. And the male got the death penalty. The female did not. And it just, I don't know, it just makes you just think, is there any justice in this world? This child just never had a chance. We now learn that Her mother, biological mother, Destiny Dela Cruz, had her when she was 16 years old and gave her up to Ray Mata's, her mother-in-law, essentially, 2 years later. She was absolutely addicted to methamphetamine. She has a series of arrests that involve methamphetamine, stolen vehicles, just no hope for this child. No hope for this child. And as we talked about, every piece of self-esteem that I possess come from my parents, come from Ralph and Harriet, and I cannot imagine just absolutely not being loved. Absolutely not being loved. Being passed away by your biological mother to her mother-in-law. Like normally you would keep it within, your mother, but she passed her off to her baby daddy mother. Okay. And then apparently these guys get involved, and the other question that everyone is demanding is what is going on with Child Protective Services, and what is the role of Child Protective Services, because we know now more about Ray Mata, and that he admitted to beating Genesis. He admitted using wires and boiling water. I mean, why is there a Child Protective Services? Why wasn't this child removed? And why won't Child Protective Services answer any questions? We've got to do something about this whole idea of, well, it's a personnel matter. There's got to be more transparency on these things, at least for the families involved, if not for the public. And there's drug possession that's involved in this, and it's just absolutely frustrating. It just leaves you absolutely speechless. And the criminal history of the dad, I have to actually read this. It's so damn long. He was arrested in the La Quinta on my birthday, August 3rd. Back in 2021, deputies were dispatched to a report of a man who brandished a gun at a passing vehicle in the area of Wheatpatch Highway and East Brundage Lane. They found Mata walking in the middle of East Brundage Lane and ordered him to get down. A 9mm handgun with no serial number and a live round of the magazine was recovered from his right pocket. Mata told deputies he's a member of the East Side. No, I'm not giving it. The initials, he said he's from a gang. And he had the gang initials tattooed on his face. He was charged with 3 felonies, carrying a loaded gun without registration, carrying a concealed, unregistered gun, and tampering with a firearm serial number. Months later, authorities raided a marijuana dispensary operating in Bakersfield and found Mata inside. He said he worked there as a security guard. Processed marijuana and edibles were seized. Mata was arrested. Get this. Charged with keeping a place to sell drugs and possession of marijuana for sale. Then 2 weeks later, police were called to the 500 block of 4th Street to a possible crash and found a 2000 Toyota Camry parked westbound parallel to the north curb line. Mata's mother arrived and said her son had gone to court. She, quote, was not forthcoming with information regarding the collision and did not want to provide any further information. It's according to a police report. The car was impounded after a record showed that Mata had never issued a driver's license. He was cited for driving without a license and proof of insurance. It's a joke. It's all a joke. December 21, 2021. Police arrived to a collision in the 100 block of 8th Street. Does this guy even know how to drive?
That's what I'm thinking. This guy gets in more accidents.
No kidding. No wonder he doesn't have a license. Police arrived to a collision in the 100 block of 8th Street and spoke with Mata, who'd been driving a 2009 Chrysler Sebring. He admitted he'd never been issued a driver's license and didn't have insurance. The car was impounded and Mata was cited for driving with a license with proof of insurance.
He's never had a license, period.
Never been given one. Never took the test, never had to parallel park, and he's bouncing around Bakersfield, Jack. Just bouncing around Bakersfield. And he goes to court and they slap him on the wrist and he gets back in the car. Because that's how it works. It's all a funny joke. It's all a funny joke until they do something serious. Up until then, it's all just a hilarious joke. July 18, 2025, Mata pleaded no contest to carrying a loaded gun without registration and tampering with a serial number in the gun case. The charge of carrying a concealed, unregistered firearm, dismissed. Absolutely dismissed.
This was right before the incident.
This is right before the alleged, well, it wasn't an alleged murder, but yes, right before the murder. He also pleaded no contest to possession of marijuana for sale in the drug case. The charge of keeping a place to sell drugs was dismissed. With that big fat ES gang tattoo on his face, a judge said, dismissed. Leave my courtroom, sir. Have a merry summer. Good to see her. And you know the rest. From August 3rd, while I was celebrating my birthday, he was allegedly killing somebody right down the street from me. Right down the street. The La Quinta, like I tell you guys, I pass it every day. I go down 24th. Why do they call it River? They call it River Street or River Lane. It's right on Beck Owens. Is there like a little inlet street right there?
A little turn-off street right there.
In front of that little Mexican restaurant that I was asking about. Remember when I was asking about that Mexican restaurant? Because I've always been interested in that place, but it's got like a check cashing place next to it. And I'm like, that's a little sketchy, free loans. And I'm like, no.
You get lunch right afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, I guess. I don't know. This is just, I don't know what to say about this. I have never been as speechless and as confused. And I've been trying to get members of the Board of Supervisors in here, and we might have David Couch later in the week. What's the purpose of these people? And I'm not even telling you some of the nightmare stories that I've been told personally, where when like folks go on vacation and I've got a case, let's say my case is young 8-year-old Genesis, and I go on a week of birthday vacation and nothing happens during that week. Nothing, nobody picks up the case, nobody child checks, nobody does anything to follow up. Greg Terry was on television this morning, was on 17 with Anthony Vasquez, and talked a little bit about it, but somebody's got to put the hammer down and ask CPS the tough questions. Why was this child not removed? There was a long history of abuse. Why was this child not removed? Foster care is not pretty, but it's certainly better than to be in the hands of a gang-banging, gun-toting, dope-selling, drug addict. It just makes me think that what a lottery life is and how miserable your life can be if you lose the lottery and you get a pair of idiot parents. Idiot, vicious, careless, soulless, black-hearted parents. God help us. Let's take a break. Come right back. Howard Marcus joins us at the top of the hour. It's a Wednesday. We will applaud the Kern County Board of Education for taking on the transgender issue in Title IX and how these men, these biological men or transgender women, however you want to refer to them, are taking spots from young girls and using their locker rooms and taking spots on different teams, which is completely antithetical to what Title IX was all about. Get into that. Democrats still fighting crime. Good reports, though, from last night, some 45 arrests in the nation's capital. And Kenley Jansen did what Kenley Jansen does and gives up a late inning home run, and yet the Dodgers still lost. And I'll confirm that Padres win. It would make us a half game back before we even get started tonight in Anaheim. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Thursday's Armstrong and Getty show. We're getting closer to the big summit. I feel like every day there are revelations that teach us more about what's going to happen between Trump and Putin.
You guys are a half game ahead.
We're a half game ahead?
They're a half game ahead.
They lost?
At the moment, yeah, because they're 69 and 52. You guys are 68 and 52. You're half a game ahead of them still.
No, they won. No. They won today.
Did they win today?
Yeah. Yeah, they're a half game up. They won.
Sure, they just didn't win their 60th and their 69th.
No, they're 11-1. They won 11-1. They're 69 and 52. We're 68 and 52.
Right. That would put you ahead.
No, they've got one more win.
Because you still have to. I know, but you guys are playing today. So right now, statistically, you're still technically a half a game ahead of them until your game is over. Then if you guys lose today, then you would go down a whole game.
No, you're completely wrong.
I'm looking at it
right now. They're a half game up because they won.
Oh, you know what? No, you're right. You're right. I got it flipped. For some reason, they have you still at the top of the standing.
No. They're a half game up. Now, if we win, we're tied. If we lose, we're a full game back.
Right.
Yeah.
Delicatessen, where families meet. Hey, everybody, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Network. You know, it's funny or coincidental that I'm talking to you about Adaptive Network because they literally just left our studios. That's right. We've teamed up with Adaptive Network because they are the best in town when it comes to IT. And, you know, the biggest mistake companies make with their IT is not having a plan. Like I've talked about, as a radio station, when our IT goes down, you hear nothing. So we can't just wait and say, oh, well, we'll call our IT guy the very next day. We have to have a plan, disaster recovery, security policies, and compliance that all often get ignored. And they also talk about antivirus. Today's cyber threats need layered security, firewalls, endpoint protection, and monitoring. And that's why we've teamed up with Adaptive Network and why you should as well. Call them today at 241-0638.
Hey, Siri.
That's 241-0638.
Show me the Dodger schedule.
Adaptive Network, your IT partner in Bakersfield, making it simple, stable, and
Show me the
secure.
schedule.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently
Siri, show me the Dodger
taxpayers
schedule.
that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 five-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147 or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the
You have to be 50 plus to answer this question. Doesn't Bill Withers look a little bit like Wes Unseld?
Yeah, this one you're looking at me like I know.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at you like, why are you even trying to figure it out? Did you not just hear what I just said? You have no idea who Wes Unseld is. And you probably don't know what Bill Withers looks like.
I'm looking at a picture right now.
Okay, you got Withers? Okay, now look up Wes Unseld real quick. Put that in your head. Now look up Wes Unseld. A little bit? Come on.
You know what? I can see what's going on. Yeah. A little bit. It's not this like the one they have pulled up right here has him with a goatee and stuff. It doesn't look like.
Oh no, Wes Unseld never had a goatee.
No, that's what I'm saying. The ones next to him where it's actually him, where he does have the goatee.
Yeah.
Looks like he's playing like that. That looks.
Yeah, when he was young, he never played with a goatee. He was a badass. He was a badass. Not a big guy, probably like 6'11", maybe even 6'10".
6'7".
Really? Wow. That's what I'm saying. I knew he wasn't a big guy. 6'7". Wow.
Played center though.
Oh, he was a badass. He would bump and grind and push and gave Kareem fits. And Kareem was like 7'1", 7'2". Oh, he was man. It was back in the days when they posted up too, Jack. Mess around. So here is what the city council currently receives. Council members receive $100 a month, $1,200 a year. Even a guy that got a 4.8 on that to say T, got to figure that out. Under city statute, last updated in 1956, according to the Bakersfield Californian, as well as biweekly vehicle allowance of $361.37, amounting to $9,395.62 per year, and a $20 per budget meeting. Really? Not to exceed $100. That's according to spokesman Joe Conroy. Wouldn't you think that all of the city council members, and they're not all wealthy, but there's certainly none of them living check to check. None of them are, I'd be willing to bet I got $143 in my checking account right now. I'll bet all $143 I got in my checking account right now that none of them are like making less than $100,000. None of them. Not Monpreet, not Arias at United Way, certainly not Blue Suit Baby. And I mean, come on, the rest of them are wealthy. All of them are wealthy. Why not take that? What do they get? $100 for the meeting and give it back to the city. Wouldn't that be a nice thing to do? Do you really need that chump change, Monpreet? Andre, you really need that chump change? I don't think they need any of this money personally. And I'm willing to pay them. I'm absolutely willing to pay them. Let's change the charter, get them an office, and let me see them punch in at 8:59:59 and punch out at 4:59:59. 5 days a week, 48, 49 weeks a year. Be happy to pay it. But if you're just going to drop in on city council nights and make it a hobby, well, there you go. And that's why the last change is older than I am, which is hard to beat. And it ain't going to happen now because our slogan of the month, we hold the purse strings. They got to get it past us. And Alan Tandy isn't in town to do his mumbo jumbo and get Mike Turnipseed and a bunch of groups to help him push it across the goal line. This is between you and them. This is between you and them. Dopey, Doc, Sleepy. What else you got? Bashful?
Bashful was one of them.
Oh. You got the whole lot of them. And it's between us now. No, absolutely not. Whenever I vote and I say no, I put a little editorial comment. Absolutely not. Just saying. 842-5376. 842-KERN. What do you got?
Nothing against Maddie Jansen. She was a great reporter, but I have to believe that her dad's connections helped her get a couple of steps when climbing the news ladder.
I don't know how that's possible. She started in a tiny little market. Are you kidding? You really think that you could get connected to television? And even if you could, you think you could keep your job because of who your parent is? Let me tell you, someone who did television for 6 years, you're talking out of your behind. You have no idea what you're talking about. Unless your father owns the company or is the general manager, you couldn't keep a job for 14 years based on who your daddy is. Are you people? What else? See, aren't I getting better? Aren't I getting better? Because I almost went off right there. You know what I was going to say? Are you people stupid? You really think that a woman could keep a job for 14 years on the morning show with the kind of ratings that she and Alex had, and it's because it's who her daddy is? There's a joke there, who your dad, but I ain't gonna touch it. But have you gone crazy? Between that and the Jenny Hunt thing, my head's about to explode. What do you think, TV is like this separate industry that's mystery, and your dad could come in and give you a job and you could keep it for as long as you want? Because my dad is Jenna, that's her married name. I don't know what her maiden name is. That's crazy. She was an incredibly talented young girl who worked her way up from some tiny market. I can't remember. I think it was in Montana somewhere. And she's local. She was genuine. She was the girl next door. And their numbers were out the roof. The numbers are the bottom line. What else?
Yes, Ralph, they need to make it a full-time position.
Thank you.
No pension. Then we will all get in line for the full-time gig.
Well, hell, if they had a pension, I'd run.
I don't
But
think
yeah.
there's any more jobs and pensions.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm one to always point out the fact that we have, 3 living police chiefs that are about my age, and many of them's parents are still alive, meaning they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And we're paying roughly $150,000 for the rest of their lives. For as long as they're around, we're paying 3. Who is it? My good friend Greg Williamson, who's roommates with my best friend Mike Arier. And strangely enough, it was Mike who emerged as the professional football player and not Greg Williamson. And if you've ever met Greg Williamson, you know why that's surprising, because the man is a walking building. But it was Mike that emerged and got drafted. I didn't get drafted, but walked on with the Giants and the Green Bay Packers. And we got who am I thinking of?
Terry?
No, he's working. Bill Rector, and who's the third? The brother. Lord have mercy. Lyle Martin. Woo! That was close, Jack. Now I was about to dig in my pocket, pull out my black card, and just give it up. If I'd blown that, Jack. Lyle Martin. Paying them all. They're all in their late 50s, early 60s. 150, 165, maybe 170 grand for the rest of their lives. You're right. No more pensions. But make the council position and the mayoral position a full-time. We're headed up the hill. It's a Wednesday. Howard Marcus is next.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has announced the first batch of Kennedy Center Honors nominees in his new role as chairman. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Country music star George Strait and
About to say, what are you doing here?
Mr. Stallone lead the list of recipients for this year's Kennedy Center honors. The other honorees are singer Gloria Gaynor, the rock band Kiss, and actor-singer Michael Crawford.
The 48th Kennedy Center honorees are outstanding people, outstanding group, incredible. We can't wait.
Donald Trump, who said he was 98% involved in selecting the honorees, also announced that he will host the awards program. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Mexico has sent 26 high-ranking cartel figures to the United States. Correspondent Donna Warder reports.
They were put on planes Tuesday after the U.S. Justice Department agreed not to seek the death penalty against any of them or any cartel leaders and members sent to the U.S. in February. Included in the latest deal is Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, a leader of Los Queenies, a group aligned with the notorious Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Late last month, President Trump agreed to delay threatened 30% tariffs for another 90 days to allow for negotiations. Donna Warder, Washington.
It's the latest move in a series of major deals with the Trump administration as American authorities ratchet up pressure on criminal networks smuggling drugs across the border. A jury in South Texas has found 2 bakery owners accused of concealing and harboring employees in the U.S. illegally guilty. Leonardo Baez and Nora Avila Guerrero are a Mexican couple who are legal permanent residents in the U.S.
Because I think it's a nice little
On
thing. I've
Wall Street,
learned
down
not
by
to be stupid.
463 points. More on
So
these
Coffee told me
stories at
essentially I might have to live with this for
townhall.com.
another 2 weeks. He said my uric acid level is out of control.
I'm an artist and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day.
I
I'm
was eating
hearing
a lot
ads
of
about Relief Factor, and I've got
fettuccine,
pain in my neck,
that fettuccine
and
Alfredo.
it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and
Wow.
order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life,
As water as I
get Relief
can.
Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
I do, but I say those.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it.
I might as well.
With the boat, you're just cheating with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about nuts. And no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat.
Spending my whole summer.
Progressive America's
Spending my whole summer not playing golf.
Tina owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates number 1 rating based on boat market share data from refiling. From the KERS newsroom.
Really? They're spending money with us, too.
No. They donated a bunch of wine to bottle of bartenders, so we made
I'm Bill Robbins. Students headed back to school this morning. The Bakersfield City
Yeah.
District, Panama Buena Vista School District, and the Current High School District among the larger districts.
Why don't you just use some of that? Hang on.
Meanwhile, it's a solemn day for some students at Poly L.
The white pasta. Could you do like a white and a red with this chicken? Because that's why I get the sausage. I always want like a meat. But if I could just throw some chicken in there, oh, that would be. No, I swear to God, I didn't know that. Wow.
Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 13th day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at KERNradio.com. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk about the school board education, Kern County Board of Education deciding unanimously to approve the ban on biological males playing with females. Delve into that. Democrats are still denying that putting the National Guard in D.C. is a good thing. However, a few are breaking ranks. You'll hear from Chris Matthews among those. And we'll talk a little sports to wrap up the broadcast. The Dodgers find themselves a half game out of first place for the first time this season. The Padres beat up on the Giants this morning, 11-1. And the Dodger game in Anaheim starts at about 6:38, right when I'm walking in the door. Just enough time for me to settle down with whatever Uber Eats I have and a little tiny margarita just to get the night going. In the meantime, it's a Wednesday.
Forget a small movie.
One of my favorites, Howard.
In lightly with a dream.
One
and mine
of wine, memories are made of this. One of my favorites, Howard. One of my absolute favorites.
I'll tell you, that guy's got a voice like butter. I mean, really.
He really does.
Smooth, silky smooth.
Yep. Hey, I got something I wanted to play for you.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me see if I can find it. It might take me for a long time. Oh, did I not do it right? Please stand by. Here it is. Okay, wait. I want to start again. Now, I got to do this for the people to understand. Our guest, Mr. Marcus, once worked for Dean Martin. He was his, what would you call it? Bodyguard, valet? What would you call it?
Carried a firearm. I was a bodyguard.
Okay. And so, okay. So these are 10 weird facts of Dean Martin.
Oh, okay. What a hoot.
Yeah. And I want you to tell us what's accurate and what's not.
Okay.
All right.
My best.
All right. Here we go. 10 weird facts about Dean Martin. Please stand by.
10 weird facts you didn't know. 10. Dean Martin often pretended to be drunk on stage, but in reality, his glass usually held apple juice, not whiskey. 9. He had a lifelong fear of elevators and frequently insisted on using stairs, even in skyscrapers. 8. Martin slept with the TV on every night, usually tuned to westerns, claiming it helped him relax. 7. He refused to rehearse for his variety show, insisting that spontaneity was funnier, and often winged entire segments. 6. Dean loved golf so much he once scheduled a concert tour around major golf tournaments. 5. He kept a giant cardboard cutout of Frank Sinatra in his living room and talked to it when lonely. 4. Despite his laid-back persona, Martin was a neat freak and ironed his own shirts daily, sometimes twice. 3. He was obsessed with comic books and had a secret collection of vintage Superman issues. 2. Martin hated parties and would often sneak out of his own events to go watch TV in a back room. 1. Though famous for his Rat Pack lifestyle, Dean Martin was in bed by 10 p.m. most nights.
Okay, let's go one by one.
Okay.
Let's start with apple juice in his cocktails.
Well, that's probably not quite true because they had a running joke with him and Frank Sinatra when he snuck a flask into a rehearsal. From what I know, it was real. He drank, but he was a serious alcoholic. So I can't imagine him not drinking under stress.
Yeah, but that was late.
On TV, they were so strict on stuff. I don't know if he could get away with it.
Wasn't that late in life though? After the boy died.
Yeah, well, after Dino.
Yeah, up until then he was.
Horrible insomniac. He drank. The Santa Clara Market would deliver with a hand cart Johnny Walker. On the back of him.
Wow.
He had to because there was no. Remember this is pre. They didn't have drugs for insomnia back then.
Right. And so he tried to drink himself to sleep.
Yeah, that'll answer one of the other questions of that answer what he did. Yeah.
Okay. What about his fear of elevators?
Never saw that because he never went up an elevator when I was with him. We usually just the place he was hanging out, they were all ground floor stuff.
Okay. What about leaving the TV on all night?
Yes, all night in westerns.
Really?
Yeah, because you remember he's an insomnia. He had a giant. He had one of the very first of the people remember these goofy giant screen TVs that had like a projector.
Yeah, they had the three things on it. Yeah.
He had one in his bedroom, and he was up all night long with the TV on all night. You'd fall asleep to that eventually.
The no rehearsal thing, we all know that's true.
Right.
And I've even added to that story because I read that
rehearsals then,
yeah. He used to he put a tape deck in his golf cart and he would watch the actual rehearsals. So he had an idea of what was going on when he showed up on Friday.
Yep.
For the real taping. What about you wouldn't know about changing his tour to play golf, would you?
Oh, he was a golf fanatic.
Yeah.
I remember going to a friend's wedding. He spent way too much money, and looked out the window, and it was the Bel Air Country Club, and he was outside golfing in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
He was a big golf guy. He really was. And
Huge.
that's quite possible. He changed his tour for that.
Okay, now.
Frank would golf, and he golfed all the time.
Yeah, as a member at Riviera for a long, long time.
Yeah, long time.
Now, here's the one I do not believe. He had a cardboard cutout of Frank.
No.
Yeah, and then he talked to it.
You know, he didn't have one in his bedroom now.
And then he talked. And then he talked to it when he was lonely. That's ridiculous.
No. Didn't iron his shirts.
He was not a neat freak.
Well, he was pretty much a neat freak, but he had to live in all around May named Hilda, and she took care of him really well. She was a really nice lady, so she did everything. And I can't imagine him. I never saw him ironing a shirt. She was always doing that kind of stuff.
Okay, very good. What about this comic book obsession?
Oh no,
never saw that.
Never saw that. Yeah, you know, it's kind of hard to hide a comic book collection.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's not like you hide them under the bed or like a Playboy.
What about hating parties?
Well, yes and no, because when I was with him, he was in a semi-retirement, and he had parties at his house. That's when I said Barney McDowell or Barbara Eden would show up, and a bunch of other people. They'd come to him. He didn't go out to parties when I was working with him and working for him. He wasn't going out much.
Yeah.
So that's a hard one to call. But he did have people over for dinner all the time.
Yeah. And finally, he was in bed by 10 o'clock at night?
Well, he was an insomniac, so I don't know how you call that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was up all night. He never went to bed at 10. He'd be up he'd basically sort of crawl out of bed. It was amazing. It was like the picture of Dorian Gray in reverse.
Yeah.
You know, he got up in the morning, was absolutely wrecked. You know, it looked horrible. And he'd go out, he had a pool in the backyard like everybody else there in West Hollywood, and he would lay by the pool with a cigarette and usually like a Bloody Mary. And I turn around about an hour later, and it was the handsome guy that we already knew. Like, how the hell that happened?
That's funny. That is funny. How long were you?
Real nice guy. Real nice guy.
Oh, yeah, you can tell. He's absolutely genuine.
I love working for him. I really did.
Yeah. How long were you with him?
A couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got picked up by Treasury. Yeah, he was a real nice guy. He treated everybody well. Treated me well. He was really good friends with Jeannie. She lived just down the street.
His ex-wife.
One of his ex-wives. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, there's a famous story. He asked her once where they went wrong, and she just sort of looked at him because he was kind of a ladies' man.
Right.
You know, and he had a real good relationship with all his kids. That was nice.
And guys of that era just couldn't understand how their wives couldn't understand that these women that they were sleeping with meant nothing to them, but they loved them.
Yeah, they loved their wives.
Yeah.
That was a standard back then.
It really was.
The French have that tradition going on even today.
Yeah.
The idea of a mistress didn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Hollywood stars back in the day.
Yeah.
That was given.
I think the classic example is Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball.
Oh yeah.
To
the very end, even after they were divorced.
Yeah.
Later, he could not stop fooling around.
Yeah, and he was dumbfounded that she'd be mad. She's like, I work and do everything for you, and these girls don't mean a damn thing. What do you care? They just couldn't understand it.
You couldn't understand it. Well, it was a guy thing,
Yeah, and that era, everybody was cheating in that era. Yeah.
Fairly recently, probably the Me Too movement put an end to that.
Yeah, the 60s, I think, is when it kind of stopped. That post.
Women's liberation, everything.
Exactly.
No longer acceptable.
Exactly. And now look how things have changed just in our lifetime. From the 90s to now.
Oh yeah.
Where I worked a place where we literally had a happy hour. Fridays from 4:30 to 5:30, we had cocktails in the office.
Wow. Nice.
That was in the 90s.
I remember my first wife being told when she got a promotion, she wasn't getting a pay raise to the equivalent to her predecessor. And he said, and the guy told her right to her face, this was in the early 80s, well, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Imagine trying that nowadays.
Yeah. She'd own the place.
Oh yeah.
She'd own the place.
Didn't my check big enough.
So as
times have changed, I think mostly for the better in some ways, but a lot of negatives.
Well,
much freedom.
Yeah, the pendulum is swinging back. The pendulum's
it's
swinging back.
Sydney, right now, historians will look at all people at Sydney Sweeney and say this was a turning point.
Yep.
Weirdly enough, of all things, a blue jeans commercial.
I saw a stat today, only 12% are offended by this thing. And American Eagle's stock is soaring.
Oh, it must be. They must be selling every jean they can get.
Yeah.
Women posting that is almost as a protest of going out and buying the jeans.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Amazing.
One of the best things could have ever happened to him. Absolutely. You're a former federal agent. What do you think of what Trump is doing in our nation's capital?
Well, I'll tell you, I tried to think about the parallels. If you've ever been to Heathrow or London or anything, or any of the European capitals,
I actually have.
they have armed police and military everywhere.
Yep, they sure do.
On the street corners, you walk through Heathrow, and while we're looking at like undercover guys, and there's some police here and there, kind of discreet. Right there, marching through the place, there are British soldiers with submachine guns walking around.
Dogs.
And nobody pays any attention to them.
Yep.
Part of the scenery.
Yeah, and this is back in the '80s when I was there, and they had.
Yeah, when I was there, it was a long time ago, 20 years ago, and it was the same then. It hasn't changed. I don't have a problem with that. I think the National Guard's problem is that it's unsustainable. You can't have them there forever because they've got a limit on how long they can call those guys up. But they also brought in 150 FBI agents. You've got all these FBI agents sitting around desks twiddling their thumbs in Washington, and then just drag their asses out from under the desk and put them out in the field.
Yeah.
And it's a unique situation in Washington D.C. It's not a state where they can really kind of try to get an injunction or go to court. And he has authority because of what it is, because it's a federal district to do what he's doing.
Based on the home.
He's doing it, and I think the residents, like you read the poll numbers. Who's going to argue with safer streets?
Yeah.
No decrease in civil liberties. They're not stopping and searching people at random.
No.
They're basically there as a presence, which is a real obvious presence. You're not going to have kids wilding and rioting and all this.
Thank you.
100 kids in the Navy Yard, and the excuse was, well, they're just kids, and they're your parents' kids. It was, what the hell are you talking about?
Yep.
When they're looting and stuff, that's, there's somebody's kids. Everybody is.
Defacing monuments, and it's just craziness. Absolute craziness. It's the Home Rule Act of 1973, which allows the president to control D.C. police for 48 hours if, quote, he determines that special conditions of an emergency nature exist. 48-hour period can be extended if he notifies relevant congressional committees. Taking control more than 30 days must be passed into law.
Right, and that's usually the time limit. The National Guard won't be there for 30 days, I don't think.
No.
For display. And they've already busted. They've already made over 100 extra arrests. You should be able to go to the nation's capital, which has more museums and monuments and things.
Oh, it's a beautiful city.
Probably any other single place in the country.
Yep.
And be safe anywhere you want to go in that city.
Yep.
And the fact that you can't and you aren't is telling about our culture in general. That we're willing to, supposedly in the name of freedom, we're willing to let people get carjacked and robbed, and that the people there are so lenient and so liberal about it that they're putting their own residents at risk.
Yeah, it's crazy. And once again,
tourists, they're killing each other.
Yeah, Democrats find themselves on the wrong side of an issue again. And go ahead, try to defend criminals and fight folks that are trying to fight crime. Go ahead. Let's see how that works out for you.
Yeah, we'll see that next set of polls coming out there, and then we'll see how the votes go. Well, it's one of those kind of things where it's long overdue, and you pointed out, Giuliani did this for New York.
Yep.
And what's called the broken window syndrome.
Thank you.
Don't let the petty crime go.
Yep.
Let the petty crime and work up. And what it ends up doing is the air of lawlessness is gone.
Yep.
So that you have a zero tolerance policy, and it's not hard to do. Giuliani did it for Times Square.
When Giuliani did that, he was the hottest politician in America.
Oh yeah, he was going to run for president.
Yep.
I think he was candidate.
And that's when he should have run. No, I don't think he ended up running, but that's when he should have ran.
Yeah, he could have been president.
He really could have been.
His fall from grace was unfortunate.
Yep, it really was. It really, really was.
Yeah, he was a great. Remember, people remember how heroic this guy was. He was trapped underground in 9/11.
Yep. And he put away much of the mob. He used RICO for the first time to really go after the mafia.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look at the what ifs of history, and where did he go wrong? I think it was just a matter of timing. I know he's gone through a lot of personal struggles. He's gone through cancer and alcoholism and everything else. Marriages, things like that. So, and unfortunately, he was loyal to Trump to an actual fault.
Yeah, he really was.
Paid the price.
And he took it way too far. When he defamed the 2 black women down in Atlanta, I still don't think he's paid them.
Well, I think he has assets in Florida, and it's real. That's what OJ did.
Yeah.
If he had any smarts at all, I think that's what he did with some of the stuff. That's what I'd heard at least.
Yeah, and he's supposed to turn the house over to them and a car and.
Yep, I think they have that penthouse. I think they do.
They got the New York penthouse?
Yeah, I think they got the penthouse.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to do the upkeep.
No kidding. Nope.
Like you give me a mansion or you a mansion, well, that's nice until the tax bill comes due.
Well, they got some good money from him too, and
Big chunk of change.
yeah,
A lot of money.
yeah. So they should be all right. They should be all right.
Unfortunate for him, and there's a lot of what ifs in history. I mean, you watch all these failed candidates. But one time were red hot. And Governor Christie.
Yep.
Another one of those guys at the right moment in time. He could have ran and did, but the timing was off.
Yep, absolutely. Always good to talk to you, sir. Stay cool. What's the temps up there?
Oh, now it's real nice. It's probably high to mid 70s. The breeze.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we turn the air off at 4, and we keep it at 80. Believe it or not, it's really cool at that. And we just open the windows up, and it's a breeze right off the creek. Very pretty.
That is nice. That really is nice.
Rosedale in the summer. Geez Louise.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, sir. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All righty, sir.
All right, take care. Howard Marcus. Quick time out. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. I got a couple of things to get going. We still got lots to do right here on the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's the JR Show. So it appears, at least according to the agenda, that the city council is going to open up the discussion to change the city charter so they can give themselves raises. Now, they can't just vote to change the charter or vote to give themselves a raise. They have to put that before the people on the ballot. Well, good luck with that, because half of y'all don't even deserve to get paid. Matter of fact, y'all owe us some money.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best.
I'm going to have the kid run the show for the second half. Give him a little bit of a test run before his show starts up again with Scott when he gets back from being sick.
Scott's sick?
Yeah, he's been sick.
When's he come back?
Oh, apparently he's got something pretty serious, so he's fighting it off right now.
Really?
Yeah, he may. I'm assuming he's trying to come back as soon as possible, but he's already been out for 3 days straight, so I have no idea. Yeah, so Dawson's going to be running the board here starting at 4:30 just to get him a little bit. Plus, he might be running the show for me on Thursday next week when I'm out.
Very accommodating. He uses himself as an example to help you understand the process of the insurance and what benefits you should be looking at and what you shouldn't be looking at and how to go about getting it together. I have recommended Paul Sheldon. Just a couple of days ago, I was in line to get my medications, and this gentleman was talking about retiring and didn't know what to do. I told him, contact Paul Sheldon. He's the best. I just want to say thank you, Paul Sheldon. You're wonderful and your staff is amazing.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed.
Awesome selection. Awesome. Yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are conducted. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
The Armstrong and Getty Show.
Hey Siri,
Weekdays, noon to 2
how do you spell
on
martini?
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Ow, we want the funk. Get off the funk. Oh, we want the funk. Get off that funk. La 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 la. Do, 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 do. Ah. Da, 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 da. 842-5376, 842-KER. We got a couple of minutes before we get to the bottom of the hour. Anything left on the board?
Yes.
This mother out.
Ralph, there are apparently reports of a guy with an AR-15 on Fairfax and Niles Street walking around pointing the AR in the sky. Heavy police presence in the area.
Wow. That's good information.
Confirm this?
Yeah, can anybody in the chat room? It's pre-5 o'clock news on KGT. You would think if you're walking around with an AR-15, you think they would just take him out. That's not like a tase or drop the gun. That's like drop the gun or we're going to fire, and he doesn't drop the gun, and then that's not going to end well. That is not going to end well. And how are they reporting that it's an AR-15 already?
So I'm saying that might. No,
Yeah,
I need some confirmation.
yeah. What else you got?
Turn off the bio. Mom of the little girl has changed or was charged with almost the same crimes on a different child, except for the homicide part.
Oh, the Dela Cruz woman.
Yeah, I'm assuming they mean the biological mother.
Yeah, Destiny Dela Cruz. I didn't read that part. I mean, it just adds to it. She just never had a chance in life. It just I don't know. Sometimes my faith gets questioned. And these are the times. These are the times that my faith gets questioned. How could the Lord allow this to happen? Have this girl be born into this situation? The mother was 16. At 18, she gave the baby up to her mother-in-law, remained on methamphetamine for much of the rest of her life. I think her last arrest was in 2022. If in fact that's the last arrest, that's according to what their paper is reporting, or I'm not sure if that was the paper, Channel 17, but and then she gets plopped into this Mata family. And, you could tell just by the pictures, her teeth weren't straight. I bet that's from abuse. Her hair seemed like it was cut with scissors. And they just snuffed her life out in a tiny little hotel. And did you read this? That Mata had a relationship with the guy that runs the La Quinta. Are the police? I forgot to mention that. Are the police now investigating La Quinta? Because this Mata character is a gangbanger. So is this a gangbang-owned hotel? I think it's worth looking into.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
The one time you turned the mic off?
I know. That's why I should never turn it off. Thank you, Lisa. You gotta get my phone number. What the hell?
It's not up right now. We were looking at the Brittany Griner thing because you had to know.
Oh. Yeah, you gotta text me personally. Huh? It's what? Oh, they were screaming at me, turn it on? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Go to the radio, you can listen to it and watch at the same time.
Sorry, guys. All right, let's do that whole bit over again. Bailey, take 2. No, I'm kidding. Good. You probably didn't even want to hear what I was talking about. I was going off. Thank you, Lisa.
This on YouTube, to be honest.
Yeah, probably did.
We won't be getting copyright strikes anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to. I was just talking about love and hip hop and why lesbians date girls that look like men, and they use instruments that men already have and have to feel better than a piece of plastic, I would think. God, that's just me. I wouldn't know,
It's not about the person, Ralph. It's about how they make you feel.
Yeah, I guess.
Sound good at least?
Yeah. Hey, I have no clue. I've been a lesbian my whole life. What do I know? Just saying. Let's go and take a break. See, I turn it on and that's what you get. See, you probably prefer to keep it off. Sorry about that. They've been on me about turning off my mic, and I finally did, and I forgot to turn it back on. See?
For a whole segment.
Whole doggone segment. I apologize. I really do. All right. We got audio. We've got Chris Matthews. We'll talk about what is going on in D.C. And we got Joe Scarborough as well. Outstanding. Some of the Democrats are conceding, those that are residents within the District of Columbia, this may not be such a bad idea Donald Trump's got going on in D.C. Other mayors are starting to panic, thinking they're going to bring their little National Guard show to their community. Wouldn't it be something if crime, and I mean violent crime, because all these stats, the crime is dropping, plummeting, falling in D.C., not the murder rate. August 13th, they've got 100 murders already in the District of Columbia. If it were a state per capita, 100,000 murders, they would be number 1 in the union. Absolutely number 1. Wouldn't it be something after 30 days if the murder rate in Washington, D.C. drastically plummeted? Wouldn't that be something? Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live, kernradio.com.
Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Thursday's Armstrong.
Hey, Messmaker.
That teach us more about what's going to happen between Trump and Putin. Also, a college professor who says her students are telling her that since they started using AI, their ability to write and critically think has gone away. What? All on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Every Thursday, our money man, Daniel Petrie, joins us at 4:30, bringing his political and economic knowledge to this radio broadcast. And as I've continued to tell you, not only is he an important cog on this radio show, he's an important part of my life. Almost a decade ago, I became a client at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, and Daniel has done me right. I don't want to depend on simply my 401k or Social Security in about 10, 15, 20 years. And it's nice to be able to diversify with the folks at Raymond James and Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And retirement is in your future. Call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400, or just keep it locked. Join us on Thursday when he comes every Thursday at 4:30. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
The This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or NPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Looking for flooring? It's on sale at America Ceramics. Looking for kitchen countertops? It's on sale at America Ceramics. How about shower tile? Yep, that's on sale too at America Ceramics. At America Ceramics, everything you need to transform your space is marked down for the summer. From sleek stone surfaces to bold backsplash tiles, they have it, and it's all
Hey,
on
Chris.
sale. Bring your big ideas to America Ceramics,
Chris.
4000 Fruitvale Avenue, or visit americaceramics.com.
Can I say he's Scott's producer?
Styles and savings are going fast, and this summer sale won't last forever.
Yeah.
America Ceramics at 4000 Fruitvale Avenue, or visit americaceramics.com to get
Do
started.
you know what he's doing? He knows how to hit the audio and everything.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Ron Geis. Hello, Kern County. This is
And he knows how to, are
My
there
wife and I recently
messages?
changed our health care.
At the moment, no.
We were so fortunate to have found
Oh.
Sheldon. Paul and his associates Kelly,
I haven't
Lynn,
even, like,
and Christine.
with you, I don't even look at
guiding
TV
us
more
through
because
the
you keep telling me you
transition.
don't
They
turn
have
the light on. So I
comprehensive
assume I'll
knowledge
turn the
and
light on.
experience in all
Well, Randy
aspects
stuck his head in here talking about, what was he talking about?
and the option. They listen to our questions every time we walk in the door, and they followed up very
You know, I think it's
promptly
the
with the
volume in
answers
that
we
thing.
needed.
No, that's
With
exactly
Paul's
what it is.
help,
That's why I
we
was
made the best
Because
decisions
I was
for us.
listening to
The process was painless, and we now have comprehensive medical coverage at a very
is sitting in for Chris Burdick. He's soon to be Scott Cox, producer in the morning. Dawson, who is that? Did Chris play that or did you play that?
I chose that one.
Who is that?
That's some David Bowie for you.
That was David Bowie?
Yep.
Wow. Nice call. How old are you, son?
I'm 26.
And you know about David Bowie?
You know, my grandpa was really big into David Bowie, and so I kind of raised up on it.
All right, turn your mic off. Turn your mic off. His grandfather. All right, that's enough out of you. His grandfather. Good God Almighty. Well, I mean, that's the reality. I'm about your grandfather's age, so yeah, that does make sense. So didn't need to hear that though, Dawson. I really, really didn't. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on the board, Dawson? Anything? Everybody just yelling at me to turn the sound back on.
I agree with you 1000%. Women should date beautiful women, not a woman that looks like a man. That makes no sense to me. Trust me, I enjoy beautiful women, not a woman that's going to look like a man. I might as well date a man, a good-looking man.
Thank you. Was that a female?
I believe so, yeah.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. And it's like central casting. Like 7 out of 10. And this is just an observation. And let me be clear to all my lesbian friends. I couldn't care less. But you cannot tell me as a societal observation that 7 out of 10 lesbian couples, you can tell who the female is and you can tell who the male is. That's just, and it's just an observation. And it doesn't necessarily make the male unattractive. The male on Love and Hip Hop, who's really a female, is an attractive person. She just dresses like a man. You know, I don't see many women walking around with ball caps backwards and wearing jerseys and Timberlands and I'm just, and I swear, I know you don't believe this because y'all think I'm a sexual bigot, but I have really dear friends that are lesbians and a couple of really good gay friends. I went when I was at Cal State. A good friend of mine was a waiter at Frigati's and worked on the newspaper with us. We loved Gavin. He'd bring us cheesecake after. What else you got?
Back to Brittany Griner. Have you seen Brittany Griner without a shirt on? She has no breasts. They're actually flat like a man.
What I tell you, Brittany? That's a man. That's a man.
Don't mean nothing.
That is a dude.
That don't mean nothing. I've seen a lot of masculine women out there that don't have very, big breasts.
Yeah, but they have something. They have something going on. She is just, that is a man. Women don't talk like that.
Me of, though, a little bit. Did you ever watch that Dodgeball movie?
Uh-uh.
No, the Vince Vaughn movie. Oh, for those of you who have, there's a little scene in there with a Girl Scout troop when they're trying to qualify for the dodgeball tournament, and they end up losing because one of them has overdone it with beaver tranquilizer, and she's huge and looks like a man.
Really?
Like a full-blown man. It's fantastic.
I saw a great video last night in my reels of videos that I watch before I go to bed. 10 celebrities with the largest breast in Hollywood. I was like, okay, now we're talking. You hear who they had? They had like, do you remember the series with the girl? They were waitresses, and one of them was rich, but she lost all her money.
Yeah, Two Broke Girls.
Two Broke Girls. Okay, one of
Kat Dennings. Yeah,
she was one of them, and I was like, yeah, but really, one of the 10 biggest? They said she was a 35 double D, and I was like, it's the 21st century. That's like the norm. Are you kidding me? Double D? Because I know some Fs. I know a J. I dated a J for a minute. And I was like, you're kidding. And then I was like, ooh, no, you're not. But we should never go down this rabbit hole. We really shouldn't. Get me out of here, Dawson. What else you got?
Lesbians like mini girls and gays like smooth skinned feminine guys.
Okay, read that again.
Oh, lesbians like manly girls and gays like smooth skinned feminine guys.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But women can't be manly physiologically, physically. Their skin is just as smooth just because they dress like men. That doesn't make them. I thought women liked the manliness of a man. And why are more. I'm not going to go here anymore. I was going to say, why are more lesbians bisexual than gay men? Wouldn't you say that an overwhelming majority of gay men are not bisexual? They do not want to have anything to do with women. But a lesbian woman, she'll jump the fence every now and again. Just saying. There's some that are like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know I have a very good friend. She's like, you all detest me. And I've always asked her, then why all the instruments? Why all the accoutrements? And she can never really give me a straight answer. But there's some that, both sides. I'm just responding to text messages, y'all. I'm just responding to text messages. That's all I'm doing. What else you got? It's you all.
That's all we got.
It's you all with the filthy minds. I was just responding to text messages.
I can only imagine what's on that YouTube channel behind you.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to get into here. Let's see what these knuckleheads talk about. Where can I stream love and hip hop? MTV. Oh, it's good stuff, Greg. Let me tell you. I'm okay. I just went over to the radio and waited till you figured it out because I shut everybody off. Well, that's all I got. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Let's begin. I literally won a press club award for this very topic. No, not lesbianism, but it was with Stephen Mayer, who is still a staff writer at the Californian and was on our staff when I was the managing editor at The Runner at Cal State. And Steve and I wrote a dual column My half was, let's openly talk about sex. And of course, my first paragraph was in quotes, Salt and Pepper song. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that sex brings. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about, okay. And then Steve took the more parochial Catholic, maybe, I think he's Catholic, old school, no, there's enough sex on television and magazines, etc. And we want a press club award for it. Sex is an interesting topic, whether you're willing to admit that or not. We just got 3 doggone text messages, and half the damn half hour was me being muted. Sex is an interesting thing to talk about, and Americans, for some reason, are so reluctant to talk about it. Never really understood that. It has to deal with men and women and how we relate to one another. And in particular, in the 21st century, where these young knuckleheads don't know how to talk to girls because they're on their phones and texting everything. There are no phone conversations. It's a weird time in America. It really is. Final hour of the broadcast. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Census Bureau says the U.S. population of foreign-born residents is rapidly decreasing under President Trump. Bob Agnew reports.
The latest Census Bureau numbers show the total number of foreign-born people in the country dropped by 2.2 million from January through July. Most of those who left, 1.6 million, came from the illegal immigrant population. The numbers show an unprecedented turnaround in that illegals are now leaving the country at an even faster pace than the 120,000 a month that flooded into the country under President Biden.
Because I was talking about Love and Hip Hop last night.
President Trump has a stern warning for Russia ahead of Friday's meeting with Vladimir Putin.
Severe consequences if Putin doesn't agree to stop his war in Ukraine after their summit in Alaska. He did not say what those consequences might be. He did say that if Friday's meeting goes well, there could be a second meeting between Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston.
In the church.
GE Appliances is shifting more production to the U.S.
GE Appliances says it's investing more than $3 billion to expand U.S. operations. Part of that will involve shifting production of refrigerators, gas ranges, and water heaters out of China and Mexico.
Walls were going to come tumbling down. I was like, but he was cool. He was a good old man.
And modernize its U.S. plants over the next 5 years.
You know what? You know that I'm against this. I'm a pastor.
Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Most of GE Appliances production is already in the United States, but the plan will transfer more work to domestic plants. I'm Ben Thomas.
On Wall Street, the Dow up by 463 points. The Nasdaq rose 31. With the S&P 500 advancing by 20.
Now,
oil down 43 cents to 62.74 a barrel.
That's why deep down these reality shows.
Life can change so abruptly. Just ask Paul. He's a hardworking entrepreneur. He's young. He's got a young family. Suddenly, though, he develops a rare medical condition where he lost the use of both of his arms.
I could no longer drive a car, couldn't use a computer, couldn't type, couldn't use a mouse. I could not hold my son, who was about a month old.
Paul and his family were facing a mountain of medical bills, but they're so thankful that they're members of MediShare.
I think if someone asked me, like, hey, does MediShare really work? I'm living proof that it works. My 4 children are living proof that it works. My arms, which are being healed, are living proof that MediShare works. Just knowing the emotional peace of mind, knowing that our needs are going to be taken care of when we have some type of medical problem, that is such a huge blessing to us.
It could be a huge blessing to you, too. People save so much and love being part of MediShare. Call now, 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Thank you, Jesus.
From the KERN Newsroom,
Michael
your
Strikeout
live and
from Florida.
local news update. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'm Bill Robbins. Good news for the first day of school. The Golden Empire Transit District is continuing its program of offering free rides to students for the 2025-26 school year. It provides students with easy access to fixed route buses and on-demand paratransit services to provide a reliable, cost-free option so kids can get to school and their other activities. The program is available to students of all grade levels. You can get your bus passes at the student's main office or at Getz Downtown Transit Center at Chester Avenue and 20th Street. Students in 7th grade are required to present a valid school ID. Bakersfield Police and the current high school district are investigating a non-credible threat that was made to Frontier High School today. Officials told parents that there were extra officers on campus as they investigated the social media threat that was discovered with the help of online surveillance out of Sacramento. A student was reportedly taken to the dean's office for questioning. A homicide in Nimrod Court is believed to have been a drug deal gone bad. A couple had parked near an alley ready to sell a bag of marijuana to someone they had been messaging with through Instagram. 19-year-old Landon O'Ryan Worthy and his girlfriend were in the car when 18-year-old Marlo Keith Mays approached, but then Mays allegedly shot Worthy. Mays was identified by a combination of surveillance video, cell phone data, and a palm print on Worthy's vehicle. A 16-year-old girl was killed after a two-vehicle crash. It happened at around 6 o'clock Sunday evening in the 4400 block of Union Avenue. Bakersfield Police said a Jeep was heading west on Panorama Drive when it crossed into the northbound lane of Union Avenue, colliding with a Hyundai. The 16-year-old female passenger of the Hyundai was badly hurt and did not survive. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Joe Scarborough first.
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You
Scarborough
gotta get a
first,
post like this.
and then Chris
You blow their
Matthews.
brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 13th day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at KERNradio.com. Still lots to do in our final hour. Talk a little sports at the bottom of the hour. Shedeur Sanders has an oblique injury and will not play in Friday's preseason game, Friday or Saturday, but Dylan Gabriel will. So we get a really good comparison. As I told you yesterday, Shedeur got the most reps in practice. He went 10 of 14 with 2 touchdowns. And they're trying to play it off like, well, it was our plan to let Dylan start game 2. I don't think so. That's not what they were saying that other night. And it was funny. I was watching Colin Cowherd today, and he tried to make a big deal. Did we play the audio of Shedeur with the radio guy? We played that? Do you have that? Can we dig that up somewhere or no? Let me see. Colin Cowherd made a big deal out of this. This is a man by the name of Tony Rossi, and he's been doing Cleveland football for like 20, 25 years in Cleveland. He's a legend, and he's just been murdering Shedeur Sanders, absolutely murdering him, and saying that he deserved to be a 5th-round pick and that he has a bad attitude. And just not saying anything positive about it.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You talking about when he's talking to the reporter
guy,
and he's like, "I've never heard you say anything nice about me."
What I do?
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. What I do. And so Colin Cowherd went out of his way to make a big deal out of this. And Cowherd is an ex-radio guy, so he wants to defend the radio guy, and just totally took it out of context. Took it as if Shedeur was attacking the guy and made it seem like some kind of verbal assault. when it really, really wasn't. It really, truly wasn't. And it's the best thing ever happened to Tony Rossi because a Bakersfield radio talk show was talking about him, and he was on a national televised sports show this morning. So everything Shador touches becomes national news. Listen to this bite and listen to the laughter between Shador and the radio host.
You only say negative stuff. And I'm like, I ain't do nothing to you. No, don't think that. I ain't seen nothing positive that you ever say. But I see somebody these days. Come on, Tony. What I do? What I do to you, Tony?
They were laughing and giggling about it. Shador was walking into the locker room. He ran into Rossi, and he said, "What did I do? Well, you never talk about me." "Oh, yeah, I do." Oh, and then they started both laughing at the same time. And as he walked into the locker room, he said, "What did I do? What did I do?" Well, Colin Cowherd made an entire segment out of it and had some unknown Cleveland announcer, not unknown in Cleveland, but it's Cleveland. And all of a sudden, this guy's on a national Fox show, and he's saying, "Oh, this was an attack." And Rossi was like, "No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't." And then he said, "Well, I don't like my quarterbacks to be so carefree and likable. I want him to be stern and serious and disciplined. He's just too happy-go-lucky." And Rossi made the whole appearance worthwhile because I came on hating this guy, thinking, why are you giving this kid such a bad break? And he goes to Cowherd, who's saying, "Oh, he's too fast and loose. He's too easygoing. He's too funny." And he goes, Rossi says, actually, that's an attribute because the players love him. And he was smart enough to hook up with one of the most respected players on the entire squad, and that's Myles Garrett, who loves him. And in fact, ESPN, I don't know if you saw this, Dawson and Chris, but they even played some sideline commentary of the two of them going at it, where Shador was talking about the play where he was scrambling and he ran right and then came back left and turned what could have been a 30-yard loss into a 2-yard loss. And so they're standing on the sidelines and he's saying, "How'd you like my spin? You think I could get out of that with you?" And he was like, Myles Garrett was like, no. And he's like, well, why? He said, "I would get an angle on you and I would eventually get you down. I wouldn't let you get outside me. I would run your ass down." And he said, "Well, I want to get one of your swipes. I want to see if I could take one of your swipes." And he was like, Myles Garrett was like, he's just standing there looking like Bigfoot. I mean, Myles Garrett is literally, I've seen some big football. You got anybody bigger than Myles Garrett? I can't think of anybody taller, thicker, and he runs around all the time, and I don't blame him without a shirt on. Because if I was built like that, I would never put a shirt on. And he's standing there, and he's all buffed, looking like Bigfoot. And Shador's like, "Yeah, I want to get one of your swipes. I want to see what it feels like." He was like, "No, you don't. No, you really don't." He said, I don't want to hurt you, son. I don't want to hurt you. We need you. We need you. We're going to need you at some point. You don't want me to hurt you. What do you got?
So not in terms of like physique. Myles is uncomparable. There's nobody bigger.
Yeah.
But technically, Tampa Bay has a 464-pound defensive lineman named Desmond Watson.
Oh, he's a fat tub.
Yeah, he's massive. And then the Detroit Lions technically have a player that's 6'10". So size-wise, he is taller.
And how big is what's his name from Michigan? 87, Hutchinson.
Hutchinson's like, give me a second.
He's got to be 6'5".
Oh no, he's bigger than that.
He's bigger. He's 6'7". He's a big boys.
Aiden is 6'7", 270.
Holy Toledo.
Well, but that I think is statistics from last year. So he may be a little bit lighter this year because of the injury from last year.
What's Myles Garrett? Give me
a second.
Give me Myles Garrett. I don't think he's quite 6'7". I don't think he's that tall, but he is thicker than a wolf.
Myles Garrett is 6'4", 270.
Yeah, see, he's not as tall, but he is thicker
He
and
looks
wider.
massive though.
He does. He looks like Bigfoot. Bigfoot. I had a relapse in my childhood. That's Bigfoot.
It actually reminds me of Terry Crews in the White Chicks movies.
He does. He was built like Terry Crews.
He really does.
God, you know they were celebrating. They were making a big deal. I guess it's like the 25th anniversary of America's Got Talent. Has he been the host of that thing the whole time?
No, because I'm pretty sure Nick Cannon was the host at one point.
Was he? Yeah, I think you're right. When it first got started, he's got a beautiful family. I saw him at a Dodger game down in the clubhouse. He's got a beautiful family, a bunch of girls. He's a dad. He's a girl dad. Had like 3 girls and his wife with him. Really nice guy, seemingly. You're right. I forgot about him in the Friday movies. He was classic in those films. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll finally get to the situation in D.C. We'll hear from Joe Scarborough, hear from Chris Matthews. Maybe talk. I got a little ahead of myself. Maybe talk a little more sports at the bottom of the hour. What is going on with the Dodger bullpen? I literally knew as soon as Shohei hit the home run last night, top of the 10th, we were still going to lose unless we got 1 or 2 more runs. But I literally sat in my bed and said, if we go into the bottom of the 10th with a 1-run lead, there is no way in the world our bullpen can stop them from getting a base hit. Because remember, extra innings now, you start with a runner at second base. The last guy that made out goes to second in the 10th inning. And I can't even remember how the Angels ended up winning at the end, but it was Ben Kasparius who loaded the bases in the 9th, took a 3-0 count with the bases loaded, somehow got the kid struck out 3-0. 1 pitch away from losing the ball game, and he struck the guy out. And then Doc sent him right back out there the next inning. I'm like, what? Quick break. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show on the eve of the huge summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska. What do we expect to happen? We will have all the latest on that for you. Plus, we'll take you into the ongoing battle over Trump's federalization of D.C. police. All that and more, Thursday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
KC Steakhouse is the place to be this summer. Instead of hanging over a hot grill in the backyard at these 90-degree temperatures, because the temperature's about to go back up, where would you rather be than on F Street in the capable hands of Cassie Bill's incredible staff? And I want to try to do this on the daily and remind you about the Stockyard. I found out that many of you aren't even aware that the Stockyard is right next door. Either go in before or after dinner, or you can even have dinner in there. And Cassie's got a beautiful banquet room for election meetings, or Christmas parties, or afternoon meetings, whatever you like. And again, you can sit at the bar. You've got places to have dinner, have one of their incredible craft cocktails.
Well, you know where I got that from?
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Of course, Jimmy and Bobby are providing live music in the main restaurant Tuesday through Saturday. Where would you rather be than at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show?
Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 11th for the 6th annual Bakersfield Brunch Fest at the Kern County Fairgrounds. Your all-inclusive ticket gets you access to an assortment of brunch bites, paired with bubbles and mimosas, beer, wine, cocktails, and spiked seltzers too. Bakersfield Brunch Fest is brought to you by Mango Cart. There are a limited number of early bird tickets at a major discount on sale now. Go to Bakersfield.
to my sister. Thank you, Paul Spellman, for all your help, and I wouldn't know what to do without you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the
I'm convinced
answers.
I'm just going to have to live
Team
this
Paul Sheldon.
398.
Catherine called me, texted me this morning.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed.
Awesome selection. Awesome. Yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. Sales are redempted. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows. I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
So there's some debate on whether or not our nation's capital is safe or not, and whether or not the president using a loophole in the Constitution to put the National Guard along D.C. and put federal agents, FBI agents out at night is necessary. And at least some of the Democrats, some of the liberals are starting to concede the reality that D.C. is not a safe city. The numbers may have come down, but the murder numbers haven't. And I think they're playing fast and loose. In fact, there's a report, I forget whether it's the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, that one of the police commissioners was playing fast and loose with some of the crime stats and showing them lower than they actually were. And they don't categorize carjacking as a violent crime. And I bet anybody who's ever been carjacked, which means you're essentially being tossed out of your vehicle, would consider that a violent crime. There's no question about that. Meantime, this is from Morning Joe yesterday. Joe Scarborough reading a text message from a DC resident.
This may sound controversial, but I'm not totally opposed to Trump's National Guard move in DC. I know he's doing it for politics, but crime remains rampant. I've had too many friends carjacked, shot at. None of us will walk more than 3 blocks after 8 p.m. 13-year-olds are committing many of these crimes. Quite a change from a decade ago when things were much calmer. Well, that actually sounds like the D.C. that I lived in when I lived a block behind the Supreme Court. And, every 3 days, one of my neighbors was getting held up at gunpoint.
Rampant. Rampant was the word he used. Teenagers. We talked about this earlier in the week, where these gangbangers use teenagers because the juvenile system, the justice system, treats them as juveniles, and they're walking the streets. We played you that audio from either Monday or yesterday of Janine Pirro, the U.S. attorney, talking about the prosecution of a 19-year-old who shot a man in the chest. Shot a man in the chest and did not do 1 day in prison. They jailed him. He went before a judge and he walked out of court after shooting a man in the chest. And as Janine Pirro said in that audio that we played for you yesterday, that's attempted murder. You had somebody in the upper torso, they normally die. You're lucky you get shot in the gut or in the chest somewhere and you still live. You're pretty damn lucky. So that at minimum is attempted murder, but a 19-year-old walked out of court. Chris Matthews was once I was a liberal Democrat at the time, back in the 90s when he was working for Tip O'Neill. But he's a sound, at least objective Democrat. Here's what he had to say.
I think this is a strength move against the big cities who are in a difficult situation on crime. And the murder rate, you can't keep saying violent crime is down, but the murder rate's up. To the average person, the murder rate's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
Defending what is indefensible. They're falling into the trap. Will fall, baby, fall. How long have I been screaming this? You cannot fight those who are fighting crime. It's what got Richard Nixon elected in 1968. Give you a real quick history lesson. It's 1968. The Democrats have one of the most controversial, tumultuous, violent, obscene Democratic conventions in the history of our republic. Tom Hayden and that whole bunch, Jane Fonda's ex-husband, the rebel rousers of the 60s. You remember. The whole world is watching because it was one of the first few, I think maybe the third Democratic convention that was televised. Kennedy's in 60, Johnson's in 64, and in 68. They were in Chicago. One of the most corrupt, at that time, one of the most corrupt cities on the planet. Absolutely corrupt. Richard Daley was the one, along with Sam Giancana, murdered mobster in 1975, that swung Illinois for John Kennedy in 1960. Yes, the 1960 election was absolutely stolen from Richard Nixon. Sam Giancana, Chicago mob boss, Richard Daley, who was essentially a gangster, absolutely threw it. And Daley was still the mayor in 68. And the agitators, as they called them, the young kids that were against Vietnam, trying to stop the war, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And the party has not recovered. They are out of step and just on the wrong side of history. And even Chris Matthews is willing to admit this is absolutely indefensible. And so after this, here comes Richard Nixon, a failed president. And we've talked about this time and time again. You rarely get two shots at the presidency. There are a lot of presidents who have tried for the nomination and failed, but you can't name many guys that have lost the presidency and come back and won it again. I can name a couple: Grover Cleveland, and let me think, who else? Donald Trump and Richard Nixon. Beyond that, I can't really come up with somebody who lost a presidential election. Ronald Reagan lost 3 attempts at the nomination. He ran in 72, 76, too, and then finally won it in 1980. But you don't lose the presidency and get another shot. And by the way, somebody sent an email to Kamala about that historical point. But here comes a defeated Richard Nixon, who couldn't even come back after 1960 and win the gubernatorial race out here in California. And yet he comes in with a law and order. The silent majority will finally speak, and he is whipped into office. Why? Because the Democrats are in chaos. They are lawless, and Nixon's coming in with a campaign, I'll clean it up. And as I've always said, deep down, this is a conservative country. It is populated with major cities that are extremely liberal: New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, even San Diego, even Chicago, perhaps even Pennsylvania, although that's changing. But generally speaking, this is a conservative country. And when you come in with the idea of, I'm going to clean up crime, guess what? A lot of people that probably wouldn't vote for you, all of a sudden are on your side. You heard what the guy said to Joe Scarborough. Yeah, I think he's doing it for political purposes. But deep down, you know what? I ain't got a problem with it. If I can walk 3 blocks after 8 o'clock at night, which he said he couldn't, and allow Trump to score some points, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. But the liberal media, particularly the liberal media living inside the Beltway, you think they live in crime-ridden areas? You don't think they have doormen at their 20-story apartment complex inside the District of Columbia? And that's why Trump has stepped this up. Because while crime may be down, crime in the Northwest and the Northeast, the rich areas of the district, is now rising up. There's always been crime in the Southeast and the Southwest. That's the ghetto of the district. But once you start having things happen near the mall and near tourist areas, it's time something's done. And the residents, we told you about the Washington Post poll, 65% of the residents say crime is out of control. Head into the last half hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday. It's TRBS. I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With FRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities say a Texas school bus carrying more than 40 students rolled over after veering off a rural road on the first day of class, injuring multiple students. Austin Travis County Emergency Medical Services Assistant Chief Kevin Parker said during a news conference Wednesday that at least 3 people sustained severe or even life-threatening injuries. The bus had 42 children on board. Officials say new sandbag-style barriers installed along a river in Juneau, Alaska's capital, have held back record levels of flooding and prevented widespread damage after an ice dam at the nearby Mendenhall Glacier released a massive amount of rainwater and snowmelt downstream. On Wall Street, they're up by 463 points. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Good news for the first day of school. The Golden Empire Transit District is continuing its program of offering free rides to students for the 2025-26 school year. It provides students with easy access to fixed route buses and on-demand paratransit services to provide a reliable, cost-free option so kids can get to school and to their other activities. Bakersfield Police and the Kern High School District are investigating a non-credible threat that was made to Frontier High School today. Officials told parents that there were extra officers on campus as they investigated the social media threat that was discovered with the help of online surveillance out of Sacramento. A student was reportedly taken to the dean's office for questioning. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's that time again for the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Now through September 2nd, get incredible offers on 2025 Subarus. And if you've been thinking about an EV, the 2024 Solterra is a great choice. First, it's a Subaru. Same quality, safety, and technology you expect from a Subaru. Plus, it's the only EV that comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And now, through September 2nd, lease a 2025 Solterra for just $259 a month for 36 months and zero due at signing. That's right, absolutely nothing at signing. It's an incredible offer on Subaru EV. So don't miss the Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now at Sangera Subaru, 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Auto Mall. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community.
2025 Subaru Solterra Premium SST Model SCD-11 with MSRP $41,181, 36 monthly lease payments of $259 per month plus tax, $0 security deposit, $0 plus registration and title, first payment, and $85 doc fee due at inception. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 15 cents per mile over. Available to qualified buyers through Subaru Motor Finance with Tier 1 SCA. On approved credit, price about $92.25. VIN number SA104648.
Thursday's Armstrong and Getty show. We're getting closer to the big summit. I feel like every day there are revelations that teach us more about what's going to happen between Trump and Putin. Also, a college professor who says her students are telling her that since they started using AI, their ability to write and critically think has gone away. What? All on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Dawson, you are aware that this is a black show, are you not? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, I need both of you knuckleheads for this bit. Oh, we got somebody on the phone? Who you got?
David's on the line.
David, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Oh, thanks, Ralph. Yeah, I heard you talking about Chicago and John F. Kennedy. Are you a fan of, you remember the movie Manchurian Candidate?
Yes, with Frank Sinatra, Lawrence, I can't remember, and Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
And Lawrence, I can't remember. And Angela Lansbury plays an incredible bad person in that film. I love that picture.
Yeah, well, the author was my mother used to love that author. His name was Richard Condon. And so he wrote a book about the Chicago. Well, he wrote a book about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And if you know about the takeover of the Chicago election to support Kennedy, basically it was Joe Kennedy that did it. And when Bobby disclosed that to John, John was furious. He thought that he was, appreciated by the voters, and he didn't like the fact that his father did it. And so
Joe engineered it, but Richard Daley and Sam Giancana executed it. They got Chicago unions to pump up the vote and had dead people voting. But you're right, Joe Sr. is the one that put it all together.
Sure, yeah, and so this
because he had history with Giancana, he used to sell bootleg liquor with Giancana and Lucky Luciano.
Right, yeah. So this book is a fictional piece, but it basically alleges that Joe Kennedy had his own son killed.
That's insane.
Well, I know it's fictional, but it's whether it's accidental or intentional, Sam Giancana was definitely involved in the assassination in Dallas. And so whether or not it was, if you know that Bobby Kennedy was really active about trying to crush the mob, organized crime.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, I've read a book it's called Sam Giancana, and it's written by his brother and his son. And it alleges that Sam Giancana had foreign policy. He was so big. He had Indonesia, he had the Philippines, he had Africa, he had South American contacts and relationships and whatnot. And so basically, Sam Giancana was a nation unto himself, and John F. Kennedy was trying to crush him. So it was, if you get a chance to read it, it's called The Vertical Smile.
Well, I don't know about I don't know about Giancana's global impact, but I know that the CIA, or I've read in several books, that the CIA used him he and the mob to try to assassinate Fidel Castro. And that's how it boomeranged. And that's why Bobby Kennedy was wrought with guilt until he was shot, because it was Bobby's belief that, what are they going to do, shoot you? Because they knew about the deal. And the very first thing, because Bobby had made his bones going after the mafia back in the 50s on the Estes Kefauver Committee, going after Jimmy Hoffa, etc. And the last thing the mob wanted, after they helped the Kennedys get into the White House, was to have the one guy they hated the most, Bobby Kennedy, as the top cop. And I think that's what started the chain where you don't mess with the mafia. And they got back and they set up the greatest patsy in the world, a guy that just got back from Russia, hated loved communism, just got back from Cuba. He was the patsy, and the mob was in the grassy knoll and blew his head off.
Well, yeah, it's an interest. I've studied the JFK assassination for a long, long time. So, yeah, I don't want to get too sidetracked by that. The one thing I also wanted to raise, you're being down in agricultural country, and you got a certain amount of fracking down there, too. Is there any logic to using fracking water in agriculture? It's poisonous, right?
I have no idea, sir. I was raised a journalist and then got into radio. I have never farmed in my life. The only farming I've ever done was taking figs off my grandmother's fig tree. You're asking the wrong guy.
Maybe another caller will give some information on it. As I understand it, there's a lot of different, different types of rocks, right? And in fracking, basically they want to inject some kind of chemical deep into the earth to melt the rocks. And each different strata has a different chemical need. You know, you have to put this kind of chemical in to melt this kind of rock. And so fracking water could be any number of different kind of chemicals. There's no average fracking water. It's any number of different combinations. And so to put some mysterious water onto agricultural crops seems like it's destined to poison it. Now, why this comes up is the state of Texas just authorized fracking water into agriculture. And it seems like a good reason to boycott Texas agriculture. It seems like a danger to themselves and others. And so it just crossed my mind if maybe there'd be somebody in the Central Valley that would have some knowledge about that.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Thanks for the call. I appreciate the time. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Well, at least somebody who agrees with me that the CIA and the mafia killed John Kennedy. I rarely get fellow tin hat wearers that will co-sign that with me. But I don't know how we got off on that tangent. Well, do you remember, Dawson, what the hell I was talking about before we got off on that?
We hadn't started anything yet.
No? Okay, good. 8425. Oh, that's right. I was going to get you two involved in my topic of the day. It's the first day of school. And if you want me to go first so you can think about it, because I've already thought about it. What was your best year in high school? Dawson, you're 27. Chris, you're 31. And it's nobody's business how old I am. I'm as old as Dodger Stadium. If you want to look it up, go look it up. Anybody want to go first? You want me to go first? You got a year, Dawson?
Freshman year, because my mom was one of my teachers.
Really?
Yep. Bible teacher at BCHS.
Such a suck up. But that's an outstanding answer. Is your mother listening?
Maybe. We'll see.
That's an outstanding answer. I might even cut that out and send it to her if I you. That's a pretty damn good answer. Did you have your mother as a teacher?
I did, and I did amazing in that class.
I bet you did. That's what it was comfortable? What did you call her?
I called her Miss Pitcher just like everyone else.
Did you really? And everybody knew she was your mom?
Yeah, 100%.
After about the third day, I'd be like, you know what, Dawson, why don't you just call her your mother? Everybody in here knows who she is. Mrs. Pitcher. All right, okay. And that was your best year because of your mother.
That's the answer I'm sticking with. Yep.
All right. I applaud that. That's good. It's BS, but it's good. It's good. It's great radio. The women out there love you now. Oh, they're going to start listening to the Scott Cox Show. Scott's ratings will actually, well, let me shut up. You just improve Scott's ratings. Not that they need to be improved. They're outstanding. What about you, Mr. Burdick? Darcy's graduate. By the way, Dawson, where'd you go to high school?
Graduated 2017.
No, where?
Oh, Bakersfield Christian.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. And another private school boy, Garces. What's your best year?
I love how you say good choice as if we had a choice in it at all.
True.
Probably.
You can talk yourself. I could have talked myself out of private school.
Heck no. Me and my brother tried. We wanted to go to Highland so bad, but they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think my parents would let me go to Inglewood High School. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
No.
We're all, by the way, 3 products of private education. So go ahead. What's your best year?
Probably generic, but I'd say my senior year.
That's normally for everybody's, not for me, but normally that's everybody's. Why so?
I got to play every sport I wanted to, had the girlfriend at the time. It was just a high note for me. My self-confidence was at an all-time high at that point. I was excited to go off into college and start everything. So it was just probably the best year.
For me, it was 10th grade. My senior year was miserable. Miserable. As most of you know, I made a transition to a new school in 11th grade because the old school was the Buckley School, which I just highlighted on Monday because the girl that shot the 62 up at Bakersfield Country Club was from the Buckley School. It's a private school in Sherman Oaks. And it was a controversy there where teachers got fired, and it was a big controversy. And my best friend, who was the smartest guy I knew at the time, said, we're going to have a tough time getting into college. We better go to this other school. And my parents signed off on it because Brentwood was cheaper than Buckley. So my dad was as happy as could be. And my senior year was rough. Man, I tore up my shoulder and didn't end the football season. Then we had gotten to the semis our junior year. So I thought we had, and everybody was coming back. So I made the really stupid decision of not playing basketball and concentrating on baseball. And then ironically, after not playing basketball for the first time in my career to concentrate on baseball, guess who grounded out to end the game? We're trying to get into the semifinals for the state championship at Jackie Robins Stadium, just newly built, right there off of the 405 off Wilshire Boulevard. And on a 3-2 count, kid threw me a curveball on a 3-2 count, and I barely got a hold of it and grounded out to second and ended our chances with a runner on third base. But I would say it would be my sophomore year. My sophomore year was the best year of my, because 11th grade, again, I just transferred to a new school. It was fun. It was new. I wasn't wearing a uniform anymore, which was kind of exciting. But I didn't get to play football that year either because I had transferred back in those days. When you transferred, you didn't get to, you had to sit out a semester. Actually, a whole year. I was lucky to play basketball and baseball that year. But in 10th grade, I was second year of varsity baseball. I made the varsity baseball team in 9th grade, and I made the varsity football team my sophomore year. And I was dating Connie Tsoulis, like you said, Chris. I had a really cute girlfriend that quickly came to an end when her father showed up at our house, and my mother cursed him out, and that was the end of that. But I had a really cute girlfriend who was the head cheerleader. I played running back and wide receiver, and even though I was in 10th grade, I got as many carries as Larry Wells, who was our starting tailback, and probably got the highest GPA of my career. I made the honor roll that year. Probably the only year I made the honor roll. I had like a 3-1 that year because we were getting into my wheelhouse. We got into U.S. history that year. I took Latin that year, which I loved. Because in my early years, I was taking French and Spanish, and I was getting D's in French. I hated Madame Touron, who spoke only French in class. So annoying. Like, we're learning it. How are we supposed to understand what the hell you're talking about? But I was taking U.S. history, Latin with Ruben Gregorio, who loved me. I'd gotten past algebra finally after having going to summer school. I had to go to summer school just to get by Mrs. Flynn, 89-year-old prehistoric woman who gave me a damn D in algebra, and I had to go to summer school and had to have that discussion with my dad. If I have to write that school another check for you to go to summer school, you'll be graduating from Inglewood High School. Never did I come close to getting a D after that discussion. But yeah, unfortunately for me, it's 10th grade. And you're right. It's normally your senior year. Unless you're a suck up like Dawson and you want to highlight your mom. But I can understand that. That's not bad. What was that phone call about? Was that your mom? Oh, I thought mom was like, I'm so proud of you, son. I'm listening.
No, apparently Chris Orr has a connection to young Dawson here.
Oh, is that right? You played lacrosse or something?
No, his son and my brother, my younger brother, were pretty close friends back in elementary.
Oh, really? Chris is a good guy, so I'm sure his son is. All right, let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed live in studio, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Shohei Ohtani takes the bump tonight as the Dodgers try to avoid being swept by the Anaheim Angels. I don't care what you call them. I call them the Anaheim Angels. And then a day off, 3 days down in San Diego that will determine who will be atop the National League West. Then we're off to Denver. And then we come home for 3 more against the Padres. So we're going to play San Diego 6 times inside of about 12 days. So it could be dead even by this time next week or a week and a half from now. One team, the Dodgers could be up 5. The Padres could be up 5. This thing could go either way, man. This really, these next couple of weeks could be the fork in the road for the division title. We'll see what happens. Dodgers, Angels, 6:40, just less than an hour. CRBS, in the meantime, on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180, KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So the city and the city council thinks it's a good idea to give $300,000 of Measure N money to the Dolores Huerta Foundation so they can build their their cultural center in downtown Bakersfield. Meanwhile, the city is still plagued with homelessness. We can't even balance our budget without taking from Measure N money. If the city goes through with this, I think it's time we start thinking about repealing Measure N.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers, and sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details. I need a coffee. And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69, because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will. Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya guselkumab may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by tax relief advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147, or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
That's more like it. It's a black show, God dog it. All 15 black listeners. Oh, that's not true. We're 12. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got?
You got Chad on the line.
Chad, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show. Chad? Chad?
Hey, how you doing, Ralph?
Good, how are you?
Hey, really quick, just 1984 freshman year of high school, my best year ever. Right?
Why is that? Why is that?
You know what? Because I just moved back to Bakersfield, and so I got to meet a bunch of new people. I went to BHS. You know, we were, big power football team at the time. I was playing football. It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, but like young Dawson, my son started his senior year in high school today at BCHS, but he only gets to go there for another 2 weeks.
Why is that?
Because he signed a minor league hockey contract.
Nice.
Going back to Foxborough to play hockey for a junior hockey league team.
And he's in ninth. He's in ninth grade.
No, sir. He's a senior.
Oh, he's senior. Oh, senior. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
So he's 17 years old. In 2 weeks, they got to fly him back to Foxborough. So.
You think he has the skills to be a pro?
Honestly, I would hope that he does, but more so than anything else, he wants to play college hockey, and this program is the NCDC National Collegiate Development. So they put like 15 kids from this program into D1 and D2 NCAA schools. So we're kind of really working towards that.
That's pretty exciting. Does he know where he wants to go?
Honestly, I don't think he does yet. I'm, trying to push him towards some. Actually, I want him to get an education first.
Sure.
So
I'm assuming he's going to go somewhere on the East Coast, though.
Yeah, he could. But you know what? The crazy thing is you might not even know this. UCLA has a hockey team.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they play down in Santa Clarita. My played down in Santa Clarita for the last 8 years, and UCLA plays out of there. LMU has a hockey team. San Diego State has a hockey team. There's a lot of hockey out here that a lot of people don't know about.
I wonder why they go to Santa Clarita. There are a couple of rinks in LA. There's a rink in Culver City. That's where the Kings used to work out.
Yeah. No, they. I think it's just because that's where they can get their programs in, and it costs money and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the college hockey here in California isn't as large as it is back east, obviously. But it's still good time, great stuff. It's kind of more the college hockey out here in the West Coast is more of a club type hockey,
right?
But it's still a Division, I think 3, Division 2 hockey. So anyway, but no, it's a good time. So, but yeah, no. So
good luck with that.
I wanted to call and brag a little bit.
Very good. Good luck with that, man. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Right on.
All right, take care. You too. Bye. That's a pretty good story. Pretty good story. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Anything left on the board before we get out of here?
Did you see the clip where a reporter asked Washington, D.C. Chief of Police Pamela Smith about chain of command? And she responded, "What is that?" The woman did not know chain of command meant.
Wow, that's scary. I doubt that. I think she was saying, well, maybe she wasn't, but I think she was saying, that's tough. It's tough to defend that. Maybe she just was saying, we don't know. I don't know. I mean, let me answer the question. Currently, and for the next 28 days, President of the United States, then the top cop of the United States, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and then I believe it is Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, and then I believe the police chief follows what they say, at least for the next 28 days. And if the president deems it an emergency, they can extend it. That's my understanding. And maybe she just didn't want to answer the question. I pray to God she's not that stupid. In the meantime, I want to thank Hoard Marcus for joining us, and all of you that have tuned in via YouTube or at currentradio.com or in your cars. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Michael Turnipseed will be with us, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie. And we'll do some digging. Has anybody found out what is going on with Fernando Jara? We'll delve into that, and it'll be the eve of the Putin meeting. In the meantime, for Dawson and Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump wants to extend federal control over the Washington, D.C. Police Department. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president's takeover of the D.C. police under the Home Rule Act allows him to do so under emergency circumstances for up to 30 days. But he says that won't be long enough.
We're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days.
He expects unanimous support from Republican lawmakers and says any congressional action could serve as a model for other U.S. cities in clamping down on crime. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The legal battle between Ken Paxton and Beto O'Rourke ratchets up in the Texas redistricting standoff.
Earlier this month, a judge in Tarrant County District Court granted the Attorney General's request for a temporary restraining order to bar O'Rourke and his nonprofit from raising money for or paying for the expenses of quorum-breaking Texas House members. On Tuesday, Paxton asked Judge Megan O'Fahey to hold O'Rourke in contempt of court for continuing to fundraise, pointing to an August 9th rally in Dallas where the former congressman and one-time presidential candidate continued to solicit donations. The court set a temporary injunction hearing for August 19th. I'm Jennifer King.
Authorities say a Texas school bus carrying more than 40 students rolled over after veering off a rural road on the first day of class, injuring multiple students. Austin Travis County Emergency Medical Services Assistant Chief Kevin Parker said during a news
All right, whenever you're ready.
Hang on one sec. Juicy burger it is. All right, what do we do today? Do I dare do the lesbian thing?
I wouldn't, but that's up to you. You do Scarborough. Well, no, because you already have something running about DC.
Yeah. We'll do Dodger baseball. 3, 2. I'm telling you, this could be a fork in the road for the National League Division title, West at least. We got 6 games with the Padres over the next 12, 13 days. And this is a bullpen that has been ravaged, and I mean hours. If some of the superstars don't pick it up and some of the guys in the bottom of the lineup, at the end of the month, we go into September, we could be 5, 6 games back 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. As if you didn't know, Michael Turnstein from Current Tax will be joining us, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. All of that, me at 3. It's TRBS on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3. See you guys. Have a good night.